And Pavan Mazumdar, who is the Chief Operating Officer at Automation Alley. And as I was explaining to Simon, I'm having technical difficulties with my Zoom. That's why I'm looking so green today. Don't know exactly what's going on, but we'll figure that out. So anyway, Automation Alley, first thing we got to do, I've got your talking points here, but you guys are really expanded. It used to be just the 10 counties, of Southeast Michigan. Now you're a statewide operation, right?
This is actually, yes, absolutely correct. October 2020 was a little bit of a shift. When we were in the middle of the pandemic, it became really clear what was happening is that this digitization trend is really accelerating. You saw that with work from home, but it didn't necessarily always translate to the factory floor. It's very difficult to move factories at home. And so I think what happened is that there was this really clear understanding that this is happening, but we also have to retool what's going on. And so, yes, with the partnership that we have with the MEDC, we are now the Industry 4.0 Knowledge Center for the state of Michigan.
That's amazing growth. I remember when it all started 20 odd years ago, and it was just Brooks Patterson come up with an idea, and look how far it's come, right?
That's right.
All right. So one of the things that is coming that actually you started these a couple of years ago is your Integr8 conference. And so that's coming up on May 10th at the Suburban Collection Showplace in Novi. And one of the things that caught my attention is you're going to have a pitch competition for manufacturing technology, that sort of thing. Is that what's going on?
That's exactly right. And so, yes, absolutely right, Michael. It's going to be in person. We were trying to have it last year. And then with the numbers going up, we just thought that another virtual conference is probably not something that anybody was really interested in. So we moved it to May. Typically, we have it in November. We now have moved it to May. So it's May 10th at the Suburban Showplace. And again, the change of venue was really more to make it a little bit more accessible to some of our other manufacturers around the state. We had very successful events at what used to be the TCF Center, now the Huntington Center. And so we decided this would be a little bit more centrally located. But yeah, the 3D printing competition is our initiation to show the manufacturing community that they really need to be paying attention to 3D printing. And it all starts with design, and it starts with solving problems. I can go for a long time, but really it's all about taking a real problem and trying to figure out how do you address this using additive manufacturing and creating sort of an end-to-end solution that would be innovative. And that's really the objective of this 3D printing competition. And as a prize, we have a very great printer. It's comes with some software. And the whole idea is to essentially give a company this production capability that they could use in-house and generate some new business and potentially some new ideas.
And I imagine that printer costs a few bucks, right?
The printer is pretty expensive. My understanding is it's the whole package is, and don't quote me fully on this because there's a lot of things that go in, but it's over $50,000.
Holy cow! Yeah, that's quite a prize. Go ahead, Matt.
So who's eligible for the competition?
Pretty much any manufacturer in the state of Michigan that we would characterize as small. So you're talking 500 employees or less, and just go into and apply. And we're doing this in partnership with the Michigan Pure Business Connect folks. So it's a collaborative effort here.
All right, and so let's we got this on people's minds. Where do they go to apply? What's the website?
Yeah, so I'm going to send you a link. There's a form, Mike. It's actually a PMBC form. And if there's a way you can send that out, it's a little long URL. I'll send that over to you. One easy way to go is actually if you go to our website into events and go to the Integr8 website, in the agenda, you'll see that there's a section there about the 3D printer competition. If you click on that, there's actually a link there. It's a little circuitous, but you can get there. And then we've been sending out notices about the competition as well. But I'll be sending you the link after this interview is done.
Yeah, sure. And of course, the basic website is automationalley.com.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, go ahead, Matt. Sorry.
So that's okay. So yeah, obviously with the pandemic, we haven't had that many in-person events lately. It's exciting that Integr8 2022 is back in person. So can you tell me, I mean, how many folks are you expecting for this event? How many exhibitors do you have? That kind of thing.
Well, isn't that the $64,000 question? So it's one of those, it's the first time there's going to be an in-person event after a 2-year period of a pandemic. So we really don't know. And it's one of those things, you know, where when we ended in, well, I shouldn't say ended, but when the last Integr8 that we had in person was in 2019, and we had over 1,100 people over a 2-day period, because we had some events the day before as well. And so, you know, that was sort of our high water mark, having started in 2017. And we don't know, it's very hard to predict, but we're hoping that we get somewhere around there. I mean, I'd be super thrilled if we got the same number. I'd be absolutely thrilled if it was 700-800 people, because at the end of the day, if we can convene people and they can all share in the activities, that's awesome. We do have a virtual option as well. So this is one of those things that I think that, you know, with the pandemic, you know, things have changed where all events are trying to make this virtual option available as well. So, but we're hoping that people will show up in person. So fingers crossed. I'll give you exactly what that number is on May 11th.
Okay. That's good.
Well, at least the old suburban center there is very large and very airy, so people should be, and I think it has good air circulation. So, and I've attended a number of indoor events. I'm a big Michigan fan, and so I've been to basketball games, but everybody's wearing masks. But it is, I hate to say the pandemic is ebbing, because every time we say that, it comes back and bites us again, right? So, but I mean, it's looking promising at this point. And the other thing I've discovered is everybody's 2 years of not seeing people in the flesh, people are getting real antsy, and they're just really want to go to events again. So I think those are all good points, and I think you'll probably have pretty good attendance on this.
And we're hoping, and you're absolutely right, Mike. We wanted to have the part of the reason also is because it's a little bit bigger, there's a little bit more space, and the fact that, you know, hopefully the weather will be, you know, working in our favor. So if people want to kind of step out a little bit, it's a little bit easier to do that. Harder to do that, you know, in November. November is unpredictable in Michigan, as we all know. I mean, end of March is unpredictable in Michigan.
Yeah, that's for sure.
So, you know.
Like 26 degrees right now. So I was like, what? You know, so.
That's
it's a perfectly nice day if it's January, but other than that.
God.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about what the other program elements of Integr8 are. What are there like tracks of seminars, that kind of thing? Who are the keynoters? Are there panels? Who's on the panels? Tell us a little bit about the event overall.
Yeah, so as you know, we've been talking about Industry 4.0 for several years now, and we kind of started with this concept that, you know, the name Integr8 came with the integration of these 8 technologies that we've kind of talked about. We've highlighted those on our website, etc. And what becomes very clear when you talk about where technology is going, where the disruption is going, it's all sort of converging in that center. And that center is essentially where manufacturers and pretty much every company that is facing digital disruption needs to focus on. So what we decided this year is that we really want to focus on that technology transformation. And so with that, as it applies and as it's contextualized for manufacturing, we see 3 main pillars, and those are the 3 tracks that you'll see. So the first thing is that this concept of you've got to be a software company that happens to be in manufacturing. And what that means is you have to be a technology company with digital workflows, with digital design workflows that then happens to be in the business of manufacturing. The second pillar that we see is manufacturing over time. It's not true today, but over time, what's happening is that it's going towards what we call flexible or non-dedicated CapEx. And what that means is that your role as a manufacturer is going to be in creating the recipes or the designs, and then figuring out how to leverage that in an ecosystem that's manufacturing rich. So it's all about distributed manufacturing. And it'll happen over time, but you need to build the workflows, and you need to build the mechanisms to make that a reality. And then the third thing is what brings this all together. The one technology that brings this all together, all these concepts, is additive manufacturing. Because additive manufacturing is that one thing that starts with software, ends up with a digital design, and then is essentially converted into a manifestation, into some kind of a physical product. And a 3D printer is probably the best example of flexible CapEx, that it doesn't have any particular dedicated component that it's supposed to be building. It all depends upon the design that you feed into it. We also see that it's actually a pretty big blind spot in manufacturing, because when we talk to traditional manufacturers, we hear it's not ready for scale, it's not applicable for this particular application. And we're basically saying, but that's not what this is about. What this is about is changing your workflows and changing your internal understanding of how manufacturing happens to make the company for the future, to essentially transform the company of the future. And so we think 3D printing is one of those technologies that brings it in and makes it real for most companies. And in the process, they can actually define maybe some new products, maybe create some new business models, etc. So those are the three tracks that you'll see.
All right. So, Matt, let's ask that all important question one more time if people want more information.
Yes, where should they go if they'd like more information both on this particular event and on Automation Alley?
AutomationAlley.com. And if you want to know more about Automation Alley's knowledge center work, you'll see a daily scroll of updated information on what's new in the world of tech, what's new in the world of Industry 4.0. And if you want to know more about Integr8, go to events. You'll see a direct link to the Integr8 website, and it has all the information in terms of the agenda, the tracks, and also the competition.